Well, yeah, but the 2 seed could beat the 4, and then you're just like, you've just made it more difficult for yourself.
4 seed is going to go hard no matter what.
I'm confused.
Because I'm in your head.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Sports Are Fun. I'm your host, Kelley O'Hara.
I'm the personality hired BJ Beckwith.
I'm Greydy Diaz, a.k.a. Midrange Mommy.
And today we are joined by WNBA and women's sports content creator Aliyah Funschelle. Aliyah, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's about time, considering my last name is in part of the name of the show.
Wow.
You know, like,
Listen.
I'm surprised you missed that pun.
Oh my God. Well, sports are fully fun. Sports are truly fun today with Funschelle on the show.
There
Let's
we
go.
go.
Girl.
There we go.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us, tuning in wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube. We again have a fun show ahead of us going over last week. WNBA is about to tip off, so we're going to be talking some predictions, preseason shenanigans, the harsh reality of roster cuts. We're going to be talking about NWSL the past weekend, what went on, a little bit of WSL, conclusion of their season, PWHL playoffs, all the things. So let's get right into it.
Let's
shall
do
we?
it.
Let's go. So first off, WNBA season kicks off this weekend, which let's fucking go. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. Like, what a way to start. You know, the summer hasn't started officially
That's
yet,
true.
but what a way to start pre-summer
I know.
with WNBA.
I know. I'm so excited.
Right.
The season hasn't even tipped off yet, but ahead of it tipping off, you got to put out your prediction of who you got for winning the whole thing. Do you think Liberty can repeat? Anybody?
I think the Liberty can absolutely repeat.
All right.
I believe that adding Tasha Cloud was one of the best things that they could have done. It stinks that Benijah Laney is going to be out for a lot of the season due to her injury and surgery, but I think they have all the pieces. You know, I watched them in the preseason. I went to a few of their practices, and they look really good.
Yeah.
Their chemistry is already there. They're having fun, and they just look really good as a unit.
I feel like Tosh brings that personality, brings that attitude, just brings that
Energy.
Yeah,
She's
to
an energizer.
the team. Yeah.
I mean, at practice, she was the one on the sidelines hyping everybody up the whole time. Just that extra energy, because I would say without her, there are leaders, but they're a little bit more on the quieter side. Yeah, they might talk, but Tasha Cloud is bold. She's in your face. She's loud. She's going to get everybody up and at it.
100%. And I really do feel like that was like the best pickup they could have had in the offseason. They didn't do much in terms of roster, but what they did, I think, is going to bring a big impact because of Tosh and what she brings.
I mean, I've never seen a crowd cheer for an opposing player like they did for Natasha Cloud in 2023, Grady, was that when they gave her a standing ovation just because she plays so hard with so much grit? It was during the playoffs when the Liberty advanced, and I just think Natasha Cloud embodies that East Coast, New York type of vibe of playing hard and putting it all out on the line.
Yeah, she's from Philly, so she'll be closer to home, so her family will be able to come to a lot more games, which is really awesome.
I'm pumped. I need to get a Cloud jersey.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
Okay, MVP.
Ooh, this one's going to be tough. I feel like Nafisa is going to come out for everything this year.
Yeah?
She wants it
She
all.
wants a title. She wants an MVP.
Absolutely. Given the way her season ended last year
Yeah.
and given the way she did so well at Unrivaled, I think she has an incredible momentum, and she's only building off of it. And so for me, it's either she's going to win MVP or A'ja Wilson's going to get her 4th MVP.
Oh, wow.
You don't think anyone else is contending?
Nope.
You don't. So what the odds are saying is Caitlin Clark is leading in different sports betting. Don't know these terms or things, but in the sports betting world, Caitlin Clark is a front runner for MVP, which I was surprised about.
I mean, my thing is last season she was number 7 in total points.
Okay.
She averaged about 19. A'ja Wilson averaged 26.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, I don't know
You know
what
what I mean?
clientele's like setting these these odds, but no, I don't think she could be in the running. I mean, maybe most improved, which is crazy to say, but I mean, I think Caitlin Clark has another level that she hasn't reached yet, and her having the ability to rest during this off season and build muscle that, like, people might twist my words and be like, most improved, what are you talking about? But I just think she has an untapped level that she could really take that step up to be like A'ja Wilson or Stewie, like one of those big names. So,
And I do think having that muscle is really important in the WNBA because these women are stronger, faster, everything. And I saw the pictures of her. I was like,
Yeah, dude.
she's been putting in that work in the offseason.
People said it was AI. It was crazy. It was
That's
wild.
hilarious. Well, I feel like for Caitlin to even contend in that MVP spot, right? She's got to have the team around her that will allow her to be able to do her thing. Other teams aren't going to be able to just focus on her when they're playing the Fever. And of the teams in the off seasons making the biggest moves, I think the Fever set themselves up to make the biggest impact this season.
So do you think that the Fever will make it farther into the playoffs?
100%.
Because they got knocked out in the first.
I mean, the fact that they even made playoffs last year, to
Yeah.
me, from the way that the
pretty good.
season started, was really good. I was like, okay. And then the things that they have done this offseason and just how I think they're undefeated in their preseason games, which
It doesn't. Preseason
You
does
think it
not
means
matter.
nothing?
It does not matter.
because it doesn't mean anything in NWSL, but for WNBA, I don't
WNBA
know
doesn't
this.
matter. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
The
at all.
Liberty lost to Connecticut Sun on Friday.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter.
They don't care.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were playing their unusual
Right.
rotations, right? Giving people opportunities before players get cut. Stewie didn't even play. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, this is the week that a lot of hearts will be broken. But I do want to know: do you guys have any other bold predictions for
this season.
I do.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's not that bold, but I will say that I haven't seen the Lynx really be in a lot of conversations about who's going to be great this season. And their team is so solid. It's basically the same team as last year. And you have Kayla McBride having a crazy season in Unrivaled.
Oh my
Even
God.
Natisha Heidemann, like
Yes.
she went off in
Yes.
Unrivaled and they stayed out of the headlines. And honestly, that's for the better. They were not really in a lot of drama, like no free agency drama. And I think that like Game 5 last year was their villain origin story because
Yes.
like they all talk about how that game like kept them up for weeks after. So
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure.
like they're coming back, like they're ready to swing.
Yeah, and speaking of the Lynx, I actually do feel like this year's Commissioner's Cup will again be a preview for the finals.
Yeah.
So last year it was Liberty and Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup, and the Lynx won.
The
and
Commissioner Cup, and then
and
then they
then
were in the final.
And the
correct.
last year was the same exact thing. It was like, wasn't it Liberty and Aces? And Liberty won the
The year
Commissioner's
before that.
Cup. And
And
then
then
Aces
lost.
won
Yep.
the final.
Got it.
So.
Okay, wait, Aliyah, I like that you brought up the Lynx and how they have stayed out of the headlines. Do you think
Yeah.
that's a product of them just like head down, we're doing our thing, we're not worried about it? Or do you think that's a product of media not covering them because there's nothing really to cover?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think their personalities, like Nafisa, she is just like business as usual. I mean,
Yeah.
I know she had an amazing like season in coverage with Unrivaled, but when it comes to her job in the WNBA, like she's not too flashy with
Mhm.
it. And even like Courtney Williams on the court, she is a dog. Like she will shit talk. She does everything, but she also just like everyone off the court, they're just like, this is our job. Like we're not gonna like make a big deal of it. Like we're just gonna handle our business and let our game speak for us. So
Sometimes it's like, yeah, work in silence and,
Yeah.
and let it do the talking on the court when the tip off happens for the season. I love that. That's a great shout. That is a good point. I haven't really heard anything coming out
Yeah.
from
we
the
haven't.
Lynx.
yeah.
All right. Rookie of the year. Paige is like a
Oh, I think it's going to be Paige.
There's-
but
there's
don't
no
sleep
contest,
on
right?
Dominique.
Okay.
Do not sleep on the number 2 pick. I
Okay.
think she's going to have a great season. She's decided not to play in the Euro basket this season, but I think that she's going to have a great season, and I do believe that we're going to see a dunk in the first half of the season.
let's
Well,
go.
selfishly, that's what I want.
Who's getting dunked on?
Rakia Jackson. BJ
That
knows
would
what I'm
be
talking
incredible.
about.
I know.
God. All right. So you think that Paige has competition in the rookie
Yeah, and
of
I
the
also
year.
think that Paige is going to help the Dallas Wings win much more than 9 games this season.
Well, we would
will
hope
hope.
so.
We
Yes,
will
yes,
hope.
yes, yes,
I think they're
yes.
going to be good.
I don't know.
I do too.
I really liked Kiki in some of the preseason games. I liked her little
Her-
stare down
Yes,
or just like
yes.
laughing. I don't know. I think she definitely has the room to develop in DC. But I think she could be a sleeper once she gets going. But it's a little bit tougher because the team is still in that rebuild phase, even more so than Dallas. But I would like to see her just really step up, and I think she could have a big season.
And when you're picking these like rookies of the year as these MVPs, like these nominees we're throwing out, are you thinking like, is the team's success, or are you just looking at that specific player?
It's a good question.
I'm looking at both.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to see how you impact your team. Can you guys win?
Because if that team
yeah.
doesn't do well, like let's say they don't make playoffs, are they out of contingency for you guys? Or
I think that when it comes to like your team to be rookie of the year or be MVP, your team's got to be making playoffs. Like there's no question there, because I just think that those two awards have to go to somebody who is making an impact that gets their team to that spot, right?
But you don't have to win if you're the MVP, you don't think? Like your team doesn't have to win the championship.
No, I mean, Asia Wilson didn't win last year.
Yeah.
And she was MVP. So I think that, and again, most of these things get decided ahead of the championship happening anyway. So it's all about how you end the season before playoffs happen. I think it's really based on that. But you got to be in playoffs for sure.
Okay.
All right. Only expansion team in the WNBA this season, the Valks. What is our expectation of them?
I think the expectation is to build out a core, is to be a destination that a star or two wants to play in. So I think you have to create that culture.
Yeah.
I don't know how many wins they're going to get this season, but I think they're under really good leadership. So I think it's about building that core, and I mean it's their first time being there. So
No, for sure. Aliyah?
I think they did a decent job with their experienced players that they brought in. I mean, Tiffany Hayes is a dog, and she often gets overlooked. 6th Woman of the Year last year. Kate Martin, like so much potential there. I know we will talk about some of these roster cuts, but I don't know, their whole like training camp, I was just a little confused by, like waiving Cheyenne Sellers before she even had a preseason game was a little odd, and I know that there was that quote. I don't know if anyone has a direct quote.
I have it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into roster cuts, because you think like what they did in their preseason is giving you question marks.
Yeah, just because like I understand if a rookie gets waived before they play a preseason game if it's on an established team, because then you can say they don't fit into our system.
Right. That
they
makes
don't
sense.
have a system
Right,
yet.
right.
So that's why I was a little like, I'm just like, why? Like, I mean, and they drafted her knowing full well like their needs and her style of play. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, the quote is from the head coach of the Valkyries. It's just that I have to choose the best 12 that are going to fit. Doesn't mean it's the most talented. It means it's the best 12. Which I don't like. I actually appreciate this quote, because I actually do think that a lot of people look at roster selections and cuts and choices, like decisions around rosters, and people get pissed when they think a player is up to the caliber to be on a team or to make that roster. But the reality is, as a head coach, you aren't putting together the best 12 players that walk through the door. You're putting together the best 12 players that can play together. And I actually appreciated this quote, but so to me, it sounds like there was something that wasn't fitting in what she wanted to see amongst her 12.
Yeah, it was just
and who
a
knows
little
what that was.
weird to me, just because it was before they even played in a preseason game. But
yeah, and they've only been together for maybe a week.
Yeah,
or
right.
two,
It's like
so
that
that's
seems
why
like
I was just like, is that a
yeah.
PR answer? Because that is a great answer.
No, it is
seems
good.
very
Yeah.
like well formulated. But I also am really excited for the Valkyries. Like I think they're gonna have a great season, just even off the court. So
Yeah, they had how many people at their preseason game? Was it like 17,000?
A
Did they
lot.
sell out? Or
They had a
something?
lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
really
there's
good.
definitely a lot of excitement, a lot of investment that's been put into that team. So,
huge.
Great front
yeah.
office for sure.
Okay, what do we think about having players in preseason go through team photo shoots and then cutting them? Is
Let
that
them have their
Damn.
moment.
But at least they
Like,
got
I
the
kinda like
photos.
it.
At least they have the photos, which
Pictures
is
didn't
nice.
happen.
It's like send the photos home to mom. Like
Yeah,
it's like,
like-
Mom, I made it. And it's like, oh, dang.
No, because could you imagine getting drafted and then having that great night and then
You have nothing to show for it?
right? Like
Yeah.
I like it.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
It's a memory. You still got drafted.
You don't think it's a whiplash or like kind of like
I mean, because think about how excited you were in the moment to take the photo
true.
and like do the media day for the first professionals. Like
Probably
it might
did
not have worked out,
100
but they'll never take that
TikToks.
moment from you.
Right. No, that's true.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm
Okay.
praying for the social media managers, because they're just doing their job, and then people are
Right.
like, "Why would you post her for clout?" And then they cut. I'm like,
Oh,
the social
yeah.
media managers had nothing to do with
No,
this.
Right,
I promise you.
right.
Exactly. Don't
It's
kill the messenger.
crazy.
Oh man. All right. Well, some rookies, speaking of preseason and speaking of Caitlin putting on muscle, some rookies are experiencing some new things on the court. They're having their welcome to the WNBA moment in preseason. What are y'all's thoughts on Sonia Citrone's welcome to the W moment? This had me cackling.
Oh my gosh.
where she was laid
She
out.
took it like a champ.
She
I will
did. It's
say.
time to get your weight up, baby. It's tough. Again, these women are strong.
Right.
They're women.
Yeah, they are women. They're grown women.
Yeah. Okay, so ahead of me going into professional football, coming from college, my college coach sat me down, Paul Ratcliffe, and he said, to get ready for season, you need to be drinking 2 muscle milks a day, and you need to be going to the gym and working out like 3 to 5 times a week.
Wow.
One of my teammates was like, dude, you're so lucky you could have 2 muscle milks a day. So I was just like out there it didn't do anything. Like I just like showed up probably a string bean
Right.
in professional or in the WPS. But I definitely had a moment where it was like welcome to the professional ranks. It was during my first season with FC Gold Pride, and we were playing Kate Markgraf's team, who was like a legend on the women's national team. And she's a defender. This was still when I was a forward. And my moment was her like absolutely bodying me out of nowhere. Like the ball wasn't even around us. It's just like what you do when you're a defender. You just kind of like keep the forwards on their toes. She just body checked me and then like talked some shit to me. And I was like, oh my God.
You were also like, I'm such a fan.
Yeah, no, truly. I was like, I didn't expect that from you, but like, hi. But also don't hurt me.
Wait, did you give any players a welcome to the league moment?
If I did, I don't remember
yes.
it. Okay, BJ.
Yeah. I watched. Yeah.
No, I don't specifically remember any like rookie coming in, like going into a game and being like, oh, I'm gonna like stick it to this rookie.
I remember
But-
many a slide tackles Kelly took
Well,
out
that's
some
just
people.
that's anybody. That's
Right.
that's
It wasn't
a
a welcome
veteran.
to the league. It was
Anybody
just
could
like,
get
I'm
it.
Kelley O'Hara.
Yeah, no,
Nice to meet
exactly.
you.
Yeah, that's every game for me. Oh man. Okay, another thing in the basketball world, Sue Bird is being welcomed to U.S. Women's Basketball as managing director. The position is new compared to the committee they've used in the past. Do we think we'll see a difference now that she's in place at this position?
I think USA Basketball is in a good place right now. Obviously, DT retired, so there will be that spot open. And I think the oldest player is BG right now.
Right.
So I think
wow,
that
okay.
they're in a good place, but I would like to see Sue Bird and USA Basketball start to bring in maybe 1 or 2 younger players and kind of start to get them into that system.
Mm-hmm.
I just think anything Sue Bird touches turns to gold. Any venture that she has, she puts her all into it. Like she's one of like the smartest athletes I've ever heard speak on her business ventures. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what coaching staff she brings in. But yeah, I'm excited.
I think it's huge. I'm pumped for this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but also what a position to go into. I mean, it's the first time they made this position essentially for her and for the future of U.S. basketball. But the reality is U.S. women's basketball has been so successful. And it's like, for Sue, I wonder if she's thinking like, okay, if I don't get this, like I have to get this perfectly because
Yeah, like where can you go up from
exactly.
here? Yeah.
Like it's like the only
You can only go down.
the only
Correct.
like if I don't get a gold medal, if I don't win championships, like I'm not meeting the bar.
There's no bar. It's just gold.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's
crazy. Gold bar.
The standard is gold. And I was at her press conference last week, and she just talked about how excited she is for this moment, but she's also tapping into folks to kind of get that advice that she needs to make sure that she does a good job.
Right.
Because she is taking this seriously, as she has many jobs. We've seen her in retirement
No, for sure.
take on a lot, but she's ready for it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, if anyone can do it, it's super. Like talk about, like Aliyah said, super, super smart, but then couple that with incredible basketball IQ and experience. Like you can't pick a better person to start out in this role.
I have a take.
Let's
Go
hear
ahead.
it.
What's your take?
I want Sue Bird to mend the relationship between Team USA and Enrique.
Oh,
I was hoping someone would say Enrique.
Yeah, I would love to see
Tell,
her.
tell me more.
Enrique's
few
definitely
relationships.
like
know.
been snubbed a few times, or like where she removed herself from even being considered. It was a whole thing. And then 2 All-Stars in a row, both Olympic years, when Team USA played the WNBA All-Stars, she balled out against them kind of as like a in-your-face moment.
Right.
I mean, I don't know all the details of that beef, but I would like to see that be amended, because Enrique on the national team would be insane. Like, and so that's like I don't even know if it's a hot take, but like I would just love to see if anyone could do it, it's Sue.
No, I love that.
Like mend that relationship.
You know what's interesting is that I've heard that, I mean, I don't think this is like not public news or for public consumption, but that, you know, USA Basketball and UConn are like this. And that's been an issue in the past of certain players getting overlooked.
I agree, and I don't think that should be a thing.
Right,
I
for
think
sure.
Sue
But
Bird
Sue
needs to
Bird
be
is
very
you.
mindful, Sue.
Yeah.
I think that you have an opportunity to change that narrative,
Yeah.
and I think it's in your best interest to do that.
For sure.
Because there
Absolutely.
are players beyond UConn. Yes, UConn has amazing, legendary players that should be on USA basketball, but there are other players that are as deserving.
For sure.
Definitely.
But you know what? In that same, realm, bring Candace Parker on in some capacity.
Yeah.
Let's mend that relationship
Yeah.
while we're at it.
Yeah.
Since we're mending relationships here.
There you go.
Hey, we're not
Okay.
here to mend. We're here
So
to win.
she's got to mend and win gold.
right.
Yeah.
Which I think
Definitely.
are two things Sue Bird can accomplish. All right, moving on to the NWSL, WSL, the soccer world. Had a big weekend. It was topsy-turvy weekend of
going on?
results. Yeah.
What
But
is going
first, I want to just bring up Savvy King. Obviously, a really scary situation on Friday night. She went down on the field, had to be taken off and cared for by medical. Angel City put out a statement saying that she was in stable condition. So our hearts and just support go out to her family. And, we hope that she is okay and, heals up quick and just everything gets evaluated. And again, just hope that she's all right, because I can't even imagine as a teammate or just, having to go through that, like, scary, scary moment. So, but all that is to say, Angel City did win. They are on a hot streak.
With the return of Kristen Press.
Kristen Press.
I know the fans are happy.
20 seconds into the game, bangs in a goal.
First touch, goal.
It was a fantastic goal. It
Really good.
was OG Kristen. And I don't think I brought this up when they played Spirit, but we had been talking about how, or even everyone had been talking about how against Orlando, she didn't get subbed in.
Mhm.
And the fans were
Livid.
about that. Like, you have Kristen Press on the bench, put her in the game. That just changes things. She goes in against Spirit. That game ends up getting tied 3-3 in stoppage time. Spirit equalizes. And then Angel City goes down in a corner. And I don't know if it's been talked about enough, but on that corner, ahead of it getting played in, Kristen gets into her position and you see her turn and she's yelling at her teammates in like a positive way that looks like we have a chance, like we gotta, like, this is our moment, we have to score. And I noticed that because I've played with her and I've been in those positions before. And to me, that spoke to what she brings, not only from like what we saw her do against or in this game on Friday with the goal that she scored, but her ability to level up her teammates, bring her teammates up to that level, and the awareness of like, this is our moment, this is our chance, we have a chance, we have to take it. And for me, she brings that skill, but she also brings that leadership and experience. And like, you saw that against Spirit. She ended up assisting on that goal. They go ahead, they win that game, and then she subs in, scores 20 seconds later. So, and what a moment for her too. Sorry, I'm like just going on, but just she has been through so much with her ACL injury and then road to recovery, and to get back on the field and to score a goal, like, you could just tell how much that meant to her.
Yeah, it was a confidence boost. Like, she's had I'm not gonna say rough, but she's had a slow start to the new season. And when she's come in, she shined, but I think she has to prove herself to her coach, which it seems like, to get back to that more minutes, more starts, more what the fans know she can do, which is exciting.
Yeah,
Because now she's proving
She
it.
had that game that she needed.
100%. Yeah, for sure. The moment that she needed. It was classic. It was so good. I was like, damn, that's a good goal. It was a great goal. BJ?
What was your goal of the week, though? I have mine. I'm sad to say it, but mine was Taylor Flynn.
I was about to say, I was going to say the same thing. I was like, you don't want to hear this, and I don't want to say it.
I don't want to say it, but
yeah,
she
it
ate
was,
him up.
Yeah, it was a great strike. She even said after the game, she said, I received the ball, looked up, had time and space, and she was like, this is a goal I've always wanted to score, but a shot I've been trying to take, and it was a great goal.
Great goal.
So what do you think the issue is with Gotham?
I think they're easy to defend. Like, I think they're good on fast breaks, but stop them like that, and they're passing around. They're not taking shots like that, even with time and space that Taylor Flynn took.
Yeah, my frustration is that, or my thought is that Gotham is so good playing out of their defending third, playing into the middle third, but they're not, for some reason, connecting in the final third
Yeah.
and looking like they do in that middle and defending third.
I agree. And I always, like, on this weekend I was watching and I was like, pass it quicker. Like, it's like
Right.
1 second too long where like the run is overrun, or it's just like they tracked back and it's just like pass it quicker, 1 second quicker. And they had their moments. Like Midge had a couple moments that I was like, ooh, really good. And then, you know, Esther had a couple moments, but like just a little too slow.
Right. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think they play a little too timid this season from what I'm seeing compared to some of the prior seasons.
Yeah.
I think Gotham could just attack more and be a little bit more confident, even though they've been going through injuries or whatever. But I think they're a little too timid for my liking. I'm also a Gotham fan.
Yes,
So,
let's
go.
But no, I think they're just a little too timid for my liking.
Okay.
What I will say though, I am liking this like Orlando tying this weekend with against North Carolina. Like I think now we're seeing the teams that had a slower start like really start to compete, and I think that's entertaining.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good, exciting season, because when we started out, I was like, dang, are they like, is Orlando and KC just about to run away with it from the start, from the jump, and it's not even going to be a contest. But now it's like, okay, we're seeing these results, and teams are going to have to figure things out.
Yeah. Like we went into this
forward.
weekend and I even was like, oh, I'm predicting all of these wins, like for who I thought was going to win these from the rankings. I
Right.
was completely wrong.
Yeah.
So.
You're loving it, and I'm hating these ties. I literally, that's I think my biggest gripe when it comes to football is the ties. I want to see a winner.
You want to win?
and I want my team to win.
All right, how do you want that win to be determined? If you don't want ties, do you want it to go, you want games to have extra time? You want it to go to straight to PKs? You want...
I'm cool with PKs.
Okay.
At this point.
Yeah? You want to
Yes.
see a PK? If there's a
I
tie
want a
every
PK.
weekend, you want to see
And
PKs?
my favorite goal this week actually was Priska, who had her first goal in the NWSL
All right,
on my
nice.
Orlando Pride.
There you go.
So super proud of her. And unfortunately, we didn't get the,
the W.
the W.
The dub. Yeah. Spirit was able to pull off a win against...
It was close.
Yeah,
Very close.
I know. And that's another thing. So with Gotham, you know, they played Chicago last weekend. They play Louisville this weekend. And these are games that as a player you walk into and you're like, we have to take points from these games. Like not just take points, take a tie. We've got to take all 3 points, because these are games you're going to look back on later in the season as things start to stack up and you start to get into playoff contention, and you're going to wish that you took advantage of these games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because-
and Chicago's last in the standings.
Exactly.
So you have to, this is a, you
Right.
have to win game.
Yeah. If you're not
But I
taking...
mean, you're seeing those bottom people on the table, when they're going into these top 4 teams, they're putting everything they got into it.
100%.
But
Yeah.
then you're
Which they
seeing
have
them, you know, like a Louisville versus Chicago, you're like, okay, both of you are kind of playing bad right now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like when the bottom are playing each other, you're like, okay, you guys don't care. And then
Right.
giving everything you got into
Yeah.
the top 4. So, which is interesting, but then you're also like, why are you not winning in other places?
No, it's true. I do want to shout out Abby Smith for Houston Dash. Had, I think, her first start in a very long time, coming back from injury. And Houston Dash got a win, and she kept a clean sheet. So shout out to her. It's big time.
And they were playing Seattle,
Love
right?
to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won 1-0, which is a fun little nod. WSL hopping over to Britain, to England.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Chelsea ended up getting they won the WSL season undefeated, first team to ever do that in a season.
And it was their 6th consecutive
Win.
which is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
How hard is that to do in the WSL, Kelley?
I feel like the WSL is always playing. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
even kidding.
Yeah. You know, WSL is tough because there are basically 4 to 6 top teams and then the bottom of the table. But those, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man U, Man City, those teams really fight it out for that win. And it's kind of like what I was saying, you know, you play these bottom teams, you have to get your max points off of them. But when you go into a game against, you know, Chelsea goes into a game against an Arsenal or a Man City, they know that this is for the championship. You know, so you're playing these almost like championship games throughout the season because you know that it's going to come down to the 4 of y'all and who's going to win. So,
But they also did it with a new coach.
yeah, they did.
It's like,
I know.
it has to be a little bit harder, right?
I think so. I think that you know, they had the foundation, and sometimes it's nice to bring in new blood and like shake things up from a management perspective. But again, they got Naomi Gurma, so like it was probably a lock from that point.
Cherish
so.
her.
Yeah, exactly. Cherish her.
Cherish her.
We want to talk World Sevens?
Give it to us.
Yeah. As you know, we have the intro to World Sevens, which is a 7v7 competition. Can you tell us a little bit more about what to expect? It's coming up with this new format and the new teams announced.
Yeah. So got all the teams announced, which was super exciting. Man City, FC Rosengard, Ajax, and Bayern Munich are playing Group 1. And then we got AS Roma, Man United, PSG, and Benfica, Group 2. And I'm pumped. It's happening. It kicks off literally in 10 days.
And you'll be there.
Yeah, and I'm going. So I cannot wait. I'm so excited to go over to Portugal to see this actually come to fruition and be in the stands, watching these teams play in this new format. It's going to be sick. I'm like pumped to be with all the fans that come and for their team, because it's going to be like you're getting all of these teams from different countries coming together to play. I'm excited to see which team can actually figure out the 7v7, because it is a different format and it's going to take something different from an 11v11 game. But yeah, I'm pumped.
Oh yeah,
From World Sevens tournament to playoffs, PWHL has been in their playoffs. Their postseason got underway. But I want to talk about a rule that I find very interesting. So the number 1 seed can choose whether they want to play the 3rd seed or the 4th seed. So in standard playoffs in most sports, I think this is the first time I've ever heard of this happening.
Same.
The number 1 seed plays the 4 seed, the 2 seed plays the 3 seed. And PWHL had this rule made up that one can choose if they want to play 3 or 4. The number 1 seed chose to play the 3rd seed. And in my opinion, I'm like, and they ended up losing, and then they went to overtime in their second game. I'm like, y'all, if you don't just pick the 4 seed out of principle and tradition, you're dumb, in my opinion. Not a smart move.
But I just want to know who's picking. Like, is it the
that's
players?
a good question.
Is it the coach? Is it the general management?
Surely it's like the front office or like the GM or the management side, right?
With some input from the coach for sure.
Yeah, you're asking to have a harder time picking the third seed. Not just on. I'm not talking about
I have a strategy idea.
Okay.
What? Okay, you pick the 3rd seed. It's the start of playoffs.
Right.
You're the freshest. The longer you go in the standings and the games, the more fatigued you're going to be because it's quicker. So you get the hardest game out the way first. You think maybe the 4th seed can upset the 2nd seed.
Wow. Too big of a risk.
This is some Settlers of Catan like strategy situation. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
you're playing your hardest game first potentially to knock it out.
Well, yeah, but the 2 seed could beat the 4, and then you're just like you've just made it more difficult for yourself, right?
Well, no, because potentially the 2nd seed is preparing you to play the 3rd seed, so they're not prepared for the 4th seed. 4th seed is going to go hard no matter what.
I'm confused.
Because I'm in your head.
I think more than anything, this was embarrassing, and this should never happen again. And this is the example. Now,
I don't know. All I know is if I'm the team that gets picked, I am going like as hard as possible. Because, like,
no, you are asking to have an even more or to have the most difficult time in the playoffs. If you
new thought.
Go no, because listen. 3rd seed is, in all like assumptions, better than the 4th seed. So you're going to play a better team. And then on top of that, you are taking it upon yourself to say, actually, we want to play you. If somebody goes, I want to play you, say, bet, let's go.
Yeah.
Y'all are playing checkers. I'm out here playing chess.
Yeah, no. And none of us are following it.
Right, no. You're not following because I'm masterminding.
And that's the whole point. Which
well,
is pretty great.
Also, it was just Mother's Day, and we have a lot of soccer moms suddenly.
We do.
And I'm sick of
it. Tell me more.
Well, we just had Christy Mewis and Sam Kerr's baby born this weekend.
Jagger, baby Jagger.
Get back on the field.
And Mallory Swanson.
And then we had Mallory Swanson
announces.
Yay.
Yep. Yeah.
My favorite storyline was like fans being like, "Oh, no wonder she was ghosting us."
No, I saw a meme and it was like, "I pray their husbands carry their next baby."
Literally.
I know.
I mean, also WNBA, Courtney Vandersloot and Allie Quigley announced that
did
they had a baby.
Oh my God, I didn't see
Oh,
that.
I did
That's
see that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Baby Slew.
Yeah.
Yes,
Named
happy
after
Mother's Day,
her
everyone.
late mom, Courtney's late mom, which is,
Oh,
Beautiful tribute.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Yeah, talk about that was basically like a build up to Mother's Day.
It was
Yeah.
like, wow, we are all so happy and loving our mothers that we want to become mothers. And to that I say, stop.
I'm so excited for Sam and Christy. It's so special to see friends become moms and to know that Mal and we know Sufia is pregnant. So there's gonna be so many babies running around at women's national team camps in the near future. Yeah, you get to bring. Oh, do you want to go? We could actually.
This can know like we're marketing this now.
Exactly.
Call us, aunties and uncles.
Oh my god, are you good with kids?
Obviously, I am one.
All right. Well, if you need a babysitter for a camp, guys, I can give my recommendation for BJ.
Thank you.
Oh my god! Another fun thing in group chat that was popping off. The Valkyries will pay for their first ever mascot, and it's a pretty good amount.
I don't think it's enough.
You don't think so? What is it? It's like what? 130 to 140 an hour. You don't think that's enough?
Is this your full-time job?
That is a good question. We do need to know
I
specifics.
feel like it's probably not their full-time job. But then again, I feel like in New York, we've been spoiled with Ellie. So we
Right.
believe that is
Yeah.
New York
not
fans,
enough money.
New York fans have a different expectation
Yeah.
Because
of,
Ellie's
of the
everywhere.
mascot
Yeah.
because of Ellie.
Ellie
Correct.
should be getting paid at least $500,000 in my opinion.
Okay, so
minimum.
my assumption is that Ellie is the same person every time.
I don't think that's realistic. I think there has to be because what if that Ellie gets sick?
It's
That is a good
possible.
question.
Like,
She's on the
or
So
Ellie's
injured
I just
reserve
want to say
roster.
last year, I could tell when it was a different Ellie.
Yeah,
could?
same.
And it was maybe 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, it wasn't
because Ellie comes over to where I sit every game to say hello.
So what was the giveaway?
I mean,
Ellie
you could
didn't come
tell the
over.
dancing, everything.
Okay.
Oh, that game, Ellie didn't come to me. And I
Oh.
was like, that's not the Ellie that I know.
Yeah,
Ellie
exactly.
literally comes and sits next to me every single game.
Okay, so you felt a little
Oh, yeah.
the tell is new Ellie.
Even at
if
the
they don't see
preseason
Greydy.
game, Ellie came up to me and was dancing right in front of me.
Okay, so you were like, that's
Ellie and I
that's
know
my
each other,
Ellie,
baby.
That's your Ellie right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a good amount of money because my assumption is this isn't their only job and they are it's like a fun
I guess also
additive
I'm like, how
and
many hours a week?
Say that again.
How many hours a week are you working?
I don't know, but I think it's like a it's just like it's not this. I'm assuming it's not the same person,
Yeah.
right?
I'm assuming there's 3 to 5 people.
No.
Not that many? At
No.
least 2.
To build
minimum.
consistency, I think you
Wait.
need. I think it's 1 to 2.
I mean, listen, I'll do this
Should we
for
apply?
$130 an hour.
yeah.
Should we apply?
In
I
that
would.
sweaty suit. Listen, that's
Right?
disgusting because I've seen Ellie get up from sitting down and the chair is
Oh yeah.
soaked.
Oh, you're
It's
gonna be
You know what?
disgusting.
for sure. You're working for that money, but
More
like
like-
I'm
it's a
down.
workout.
100%.
That's
I'm
a
like
hot
this
yoga
is
class.
yeah, exactly. This is hot yoga. This is HIIT. This is cardio all combined. Maybe
Zumba.
a little.
I'm gonna need at least $250 an hour, baby.
Wow. Wait, should we do a Sports Are Fun tryout for Mascot?
I'm putting all my
That's
money
a great
on BJ.
idea.
Yes.
That's where my money's going.
You've never
so
seen me
much.
work, girl. Come on now.
Should we get her as a guest?
Ellie?
Yes.
Ellie.
That would be
We
awesome.
would love to
It'd be
have
a
you
really
on.
silent episode, but we would just have words with eyes.
Yeah,
true.
And
that's how it
tails.
Oh,
is.
she could write down her answers.
Right.
True.
Right. Or type them out.
Right.
Mhm.
What are her hands? Are they like
Her.
Yeah.
are
Oh,
they
she has
Tan?
nails now, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
She,
I was like-
she has the full set.
What do you think her
Mhm.
preseason routine is? She's been preparing too.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but there's no miles on her new body, if you know what I mean. She has
Oh,
a new
yeah.
body.
She was on
like,
Ozempic.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
She's voluptuous.
yeah, she,
wait,
there's been
it's
BBL rumors.
oh, it's a different. So it's.
Oh,
she's-
it's a whole new.
She's had a full off-season
Makeover.
Okay, all right.
Down
Yeah.
to her
Yeah.
ears being clipped a certain way so they
Oh.
don't get in the way if she goes to hug a fan.
Oh,
Oh,
The
yeah.
okay.
nails, the body.
They took
everything.
feedback.
Yeah.
You know
Wow.
what? Send me
The
to her
hair.
doctor.
When you go to the game on Saturday, take an extra look. At
Okay.
Ellie.
I will be. I love Ellie. It's one
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of games. Truly, I go for the basketball, but also for Ellie.
Oh, yeah.
It's 50% basketball, 50% Ellie.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Always.
Another fun thing that popped up in the group chat. There was a Pride fan at the Vatican.
Yes. Listen, so us Pride fans are worldwide, so
Yeah.
we're everywhere. It wasn't a
Yeah.
surprise to me. Might have been a surprise to
It
you
was
guys,
genuinely a surprise to me.
But
I was like, all right, NWSL,
I
show
mean,
up.
Why not? We're at
Yeah.
every big moment.
I love that somebody. I want to know who spotted it, and
It was someone on X. Like literally, the
always
tweet
is.
I saw was like,
right,
Yeah.
but was it like from a feed of the crowd?
Oh,
and
yeah.
somebody
So-
was. It was like panning the crowd, and somebody like paused it, zoomed in, and were like, "Pride."
so funny.
Women
Right?
soccer fans, I would not put that
Yeah.
past them. They find everything.
This week's Sports Are Fun moment goes to Angel Reese and Magic Johnson teaming up on a financial literacy program, The Wealth Playbook. This is awesome.
Mhm.
I love that she's doing this. I think this is such a great example of how athletes can have impact in their communities. And shout out to her. I just feel like Angel is, I mean,
She has so many side quests.
so many side quests, but
Yes.
like but to me, I'm like, this is real impact. She's gonna change lives doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's going to be helping high school students, learn financial literacy, help build their own wealth. And I
Yep.
think that at the end of the day, especially she's doing it in an underrepresented community. So I think her giving back to her own community is incredible. I think that that's what it's all about.
100%.
Giving back to that next generation. And the fact that she's doing it with Magic is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The more money, the better.
100%. And it's like, I don't know if you guys felt this, but leaving high school, you're like, wait, what? Taxes? What? Like investing? What? You don't, that doesn't get taught. And the fact that she is offering this from in her hometown and making an impact in those communities, again, like shout out to her. It's huge. Big time. Can I attend? All right, that's it for Sports Are Fun. Thanks for tuning in. We got another great week ahead of us. We finally have the WNBA tipping off on Friday with the Lynx and the Wings. Then on Saturday, look out for Aces and Liberty and Sky versus Fever. Of course, NWSL keeps chugging along. We got matchups with Gotham versus the Wave. That's going to be a good game.
That'll be a good one.
That's going to be a good game. Wave
I'm
looks
actually-
good this season. We haven't
Yeah.
talked about them a lot, but I'm like
Wave
high
was,
on them.
so we always pick a second team. Me and Grady were talking about this. How
Oh yeah, Wave is your second team.
Wave is
right?
my second team.
Yeah.
Who's yours, Grady? I don't remember.
I haven't thought about it yet.
It's got to be Gotham.
It's Orlando Pride, baby.
Okay, she's
Through and
she
through.
is doubling down on Orlando Pride. Get her two
Glasses are
jerseys.
coming off.
Oh man. Okay, we got Orlando and KC. That's
That'll be
also
good.
gonna be wow. We got a
Goodie.
big weekend of NWSL on the tip off of WNBA. Dang, we are blessed. We got Bay versus Angel City. That's a California. What? You don't think we're blessed? How lucky are we as sports fan?
We are so lucky.
Never say you're not lucky.
I'm lucky.
Like we keep saying, there's no better place to hang out and yap with us about sports being fun. So tune in next week. Thanks for tuning in this week. Subscribe, like, follow. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see you guys next
Bye.
week. We'll see you maybe over the weekend at all the sports games. Bye.
Bye.